She's reclusive, a mystery. She communicates in type. A family trip was planned, with the Antarctic in sight.
One day, she's gone, disappeared without a trace. It's up to her daughter, a reality to face.
An enigma to solve. B was dead set.
Where did you go,
Bernadette?
Cool?
That's actually really, I'm just so fascinated by that right now.
It makes sense, though.
Yeah, it does. Just, wow.
I feel like do I have to be this close?
You don't have to be, but it's up to you. I tend to be because I talk softer.
Oh, yeah, but I usually talk louder and I'm back here.
Yeah.
So it sounds much better if I'm closer.
It definitely does, but it just depends. Like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, I hope that I recorded well.
I thought you sounded good, but we can always turn you up too.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, cool. Well, hello everyone.
Maybe I'll just...
Are you going to hold it?
Yeah, maybe. We'll
Good
see how
idea.
that works.
Sometimes I actually like holding it a little better. Like right now I'm okay with the way it's set up, but sometimes I do like just holding it. I don't know. Something so satisfying about it.
It's like a big old dick in my hand.
I mean, sure. It's funny. Funny story. So
You had a big old dick in your hand?
okay, if you want me to say it out loud, okay. No. When we were working together, Tatiana, I had worked on a project where I was helping my boss with making a video about a new machine we got.
Yeah.
And so I brought in my microphone to do voiceovers, not for me, but somebody else was going to record them.
Okay.
And GS, maybe you can get those initials, but anyway, he was a manager.
Oh, okay. Yes.
And so
took me a moment.
yeah, and so I brought it in and I had it sitting in the conference room.
Mm-hmm.
And Tatiana looks and she goes, "What the heck is that?"
She thought it was a dildo.
Yeah. She was like, "Why is your microphone?" And then I told her what it was. She's like, "Why is your microphone shaped like a dick?" And I was like, "Okay,
these ones?
No, it was my blue Yeti. That we used.
Okay.
And I was like, "It is not." Like, what?
That's so funny.
Like, and it never occurred to me. So I was like, "Come on now."
Yeah.
But
I can understand these because they look like a Japanese, like the one they have in, like, it has a big ball.
Right,
on
exactly,
top.
yeah.
I can understand these ones looking like one, but also Tatiana, why would you just have it laying around?
So it's like, oh, I brought that into work. I meant to bring a microphone.
Oh,
Shoot.
my goodness.
Oh, no. What am I going to do?
What a folly.
Yeah.
There's a lot of egg on my face.
Oh, no. Shucks, man. But
So
yeah,
funny.
that was quite a highlight of my time at that job.
Silly Tatiana.
Yeah. But yeah, so now that we've been talking about dildos, welcome everyone to Books as Bad as Twilight.
You know, it's just as pleasurable as self-pleasure.
What?
Books as bad as Twilight.
So true. Like, you've come to the right place. Like, I mean, come on now. You can't get any better than this. So
That's
great.
so funny.
My name is Danielle.
And I'm Brittany.
And we talk about bad books most of the time.
Most of the time.
And today we're talking about a book called Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. We're going to talk about part 6
Yes.
of this book.
Mm-hmm.
We're enjoying it a lot so far. So
Yeah.
we're excited to see where this part goes.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of a longer one, so strap in.
Yes. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So part 6. After we, in last episode, we find out that Bernadette took the cruise, actually by herself, to the Arctic, which was originally planned because B was doing so well in... she's getting like perfect grades, so they decided to reward her with the cruise. Then a lot of shit happened. They decided not to go, and Bernadette disappeared.
Right.
We find out that Aubrey helped her disappear, or helped
Audrey.
Audrey, excuse me. Audrey helped her, quote, disappear. She Bernadette climbed the cruise boat and left. So now B was not kicked out of her private boarding school, but highly suggested to leave.
Yeah.
And as a coping mechanism, Elgin feels that it'd be good closure for for B to go on the cruise that Bernadette once again disappeared from.
Right.
So that's where we are in part 6. I
think I have
You're
to mute
so
this.
popular.
Honestly, I'm not popular. It's like T-Mobile, like big game today. Like, oh yeah, I'm so popular. Like,
So funny.
But yeah, so in this part we get most if not all, I don't think all of it, but most of it is from B, like a narration from B talking about their time on the cruise, and basically coming back together with her father, like, because she has a lot of, I wouldn't say hatred, but a lot of
animosity.
Yeah, that's a great word, actually. Perfect.
Yeah, so he's trying to do the whole, like, so I don't know if any family member has ever done this to you, but it's not belittling. It is pretty it feels belittling when they're trying to comfort.
Yes.
So he is trying to comfort Bernadette. And I keep saying Bernadette.
That's funny, yeah.
Try to comfort B by taking her on this cruise.
Right.
That the three of them were originally going on to, and it was a last minute decision, if I remember correctly.
Right. Here, I'll put this there.
Thanks, just in case you want a reference. It was a last minute decision, and B was adamant on going because she was given the log of Bernadette's transactions of on and off the boat with the key card and stuff like that. So she's like, I want to recreate what mom did so I can find her. I'm the only one that cares. She feels she's the only one that cares about finding her mother.
Right.
You know.
And to be fair, I mean, I know obviously she is wrong, but at the same time, I can understand why she thinks that, because to her, she's seeing her father, who is sort of, in her eyes, I mean, not wrong, fondling with another woman.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, what else would a girl of her age think about that, you know? So for me personally reading this, I definitely if I had to be on a side, I was more on B's side.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I thought Elgin, I'm like, come on.
Elgin is getting weekly dinners with Sue Lynn.
Right. Yeah.
And her family, and like with B, like pulled along, and she doesn't want to do that. She's 15. Her mom's gone.
Yeah, that was
her best friend. So this was like a way for Elgin to reconcile with B and like try to get on the same thing, and she is not having it.
She's not.
And she shouldn't. She's 15. Right. Like, she gets on there and instantly is seasick.
Yeah.
You know, like everything she dreamed this cruise to be is wrong. Like I think the food sucks. I don't know if I remember that correctly.
I don't remember actually.
But it's full of old people.
Yeah.
And like they're just playing like Scrabble and stuff like that, and she cannot move because she's so seasick. And so she's sleeping constantly. So her and her father's schedules are off.
Right.
And her father is trying his hardest for it to be a normal experience.
Right. He's trying so hard, but she's just not responding.
No. So he's like going on all the excursions.
Yeah.
You know? And he doesn't know that B has this file, though. He doesn't know that she is investigating, essentially.
Does he?
Oh, yeah. I guess he does, because the letter from the superintendent to him about the file.
He knows. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. I was going to say, does he ever find out? But that's right. He has that. Okay. Yeah, I guess like he thinks that her detective work is not the healthiest coping mechanism, and so that's another reason that he's trying to get her mind off of things. But like you said, it is a bit belittling when you're so focused on something and you care about it, and your family member just says, oh, well, don't worry about it. It's like, but you can't just say that. Like, it doesn't work that way.
No.
So yeah, I definitely know what you're saying about that. And yeah, B's definitely feeling that. And
she's doing a really good job investigating.
She is.
So she like is made notes of fact that her on the charges to the room, there's a lot of drinks called like the Pink Flamingo or the Pink Penguin, not Flamingo.
Yeah.
The Pink Penguin, and then she goes to the map room and she's tracking all that type of stuff, seeing like the loops that the ship took. And so she's trying to compile it all together.
Yeah.
She's doing a really good job.
She is. Like, it's just amazing what like the conclusion she comes to and how she comes to them. It's so awesome.
And she's talking to the the workers. She's talking to the workers, and like, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, which kind of proves detrimental sometimes.
Yeah.
But sorry, go ahead.
I was just about to say that because they lead her astray.
Right.
Basically saying they thought she killed herself. They thought Bernadette killed herself. Everyone's convinced of it.
I hated.
Yeah, because she disappeared.
Right.
Like she was drinking a lot. She had a lot of alcohol, and she's not much of a drinker to begin with.
Right.
And she's popping these pills for seasickness, and then the log from the ship just stops.
Yeah.
And no one knows what happened to her.
And that's like, have you been on a cruise before?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, like how focused they are, or maybe like how efficient they are.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully.
Well, actually, when I went to Mexico,
like
they'd say that you're scanning in and off. I don't remember scanning anything to get in off a boat. This was back in 2009.
So I guess they should have done it. I went on one in 2012, and they definitely did it in 12. But maybe
I just don't remember.
I was gonna say either they weren't doing it, or maybe you don't remember. But I just don't know. I could ask my grandma because she went on one before, so she might know. But then again, maybe I was gonna say maybe it depends on your cruise line, but like
because if you're only going to a resort, like on a specific place,
I feel like legally there has to be something.
I don't remember.
Yeah, that's interesting, but yes, they're just very.
I should call Dylan. He goes on one every year.
Does he?
Yeah, he.
I think you did tell me that. Actually.
Like him and his Disney friends.
Oh, yeah.
I call them the cruise crew, but he doesn't call them that. They have another name, which I think is dumb, and they should go with the alliteration.
What is the name?
I forget what it is.
Because now I'm so curious.
It's not an alliteration.
Oh, well, that's lame.
Disney buddies or something like that. No.
Disney buddies?
Yeah.
I do like the buddy thing.
I like the buddies. Anyway, I'm looking this up.
But yeah, so in the beginning, obviously Elgin's trying to reach out to B, and she kind of like plays him where he's like, he says to her, "Oh, well, do you want to go on an excursion?" And he's saying like, "Oh, the city sounds fun. We can do all these things." And B's like, "Oh, well, do you want to go on these excursions?" He's like, "Yeah, I do." And she's like, "Have fun." And then she just like leaves him there.
Yeah,
like she's so sassy.
It's very sassy and very dickish.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely a way to put it, because she is just, she's not having any of it.
No.
And then, like you said, she's listening to these workers talk about her mom and saying like they don't know that she is related to Bernadette. And they're talking about how, oh yeah, people say she killed herself. And just imagine like how I like putting myself in those shoes.
That's so upsetting.
Yeah, like I would just be crushed if I heard people saying that.
Yeah.
Like,
and they were like talking about how like, I don't remember this, but were they talking about like how odd she was behaving?
I think so, yeah. Because they were just gossiping. They were not thinking with that. And I guess why would you ever expect that? But at the same time, like,
why would you tell this 15-year-old kid?
Exactly. Like, you probably shouldn't say that in front of her. We just get a lot. I mean, there's a lot of little details in here, but most of it, when you add it up, is just being angsty.
Yeah. And she like learns that the last spot is a harbor.
Yes.
That she has signed off on.
Right.
Like got off the boat. And she has it in her mind that her mom is just on a glacier somewhere.
Right.
Like just living, because she knows her mom can do it. You know, so she wanted a receipt from the gift shop to see what her mom bought so that she could figure out where she was going, what she was planning. And the cruise ship told Elgin that B is inquiring about all this stuff.
Right.
And so he gets upset with her, and he's like, I thought this was a way for us to find closure, but you're here investigating and all this type of stuff. So that was another divide.
Yeah. And at that point I was kind of like, but like, if we want closure, like, help your daughter. Like, I was just
yeah, but that's what he thought this is what was going to help him, because that's what she said. She said, I want to go on the cruise for closure. So that's really upsetting. Yeah. And so the only excursion she wants to go on is the last one her mother went on.
Yeah, and even like when she's talking about her mom living in like on a random glacier, her dad like takes her outside and he's like, feel how cold it is. Like she would not survive. She just
he's
wouldn't.
like yelling at her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I mean, for that part, probably good reason, because she has to know her mom couldn't survive on a glacier, like unless there was something there. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of good that he did that, and that was probably the most like well-parented moment. I mean, like not the best, but like the most real he was being with her, like saying like she could not survive. Like,
what do you think she's going to have? Like a sweatshirt, a jacket, and a few granola bars.
Yeah.
You know, she's going to be out here for months because this is the last cruise.
Right.
This is the last cruise that's going to be circling through.
Right. Yeah.
Because then it's winter.
Right.
There. And no one, unless you're a researcher, like there's nothing you can do. Which
is also a clue actually at that point, because they learn about this one place where they stop, but nobody gets off.
Yeah, no one gets off. You're not allowed to.
Yes.
Because it is a research station.
Right. I forget how did they kind of put two and two together. Like maybe
it's the pink penguins.
Oh, that's right.
It was the pink penguins. So, so they have a moment before that. Yeah. Elgin and B. So B sneaks off the boat. Essentially.
Oh, yeah.
She sneaks off the boat into one of the Zeppelins. Is it right? They're called Zeppelins?
Mm-hmm. I believe
or
so.
No, it's not a Zeppelin. Zeppelins are balloons. A Zamboni?
Into the Zodiac.
Into a Zodiac. Yeah. Okay. So she sneaks onto a Zodiac and she didn't scan out. Mm-hmm. And that's important when we talk about the ending of this book. Because is this the end?
No, we're almost at the end.
Okay, this is the one part before the end.
Yeah.
So, she sneaks on, she gets all suited up, and it's for a snowmobile ride. Is that snowmobile ride? I believe
so. I don't remember. But yes, but there is something, yeah.
There's a vehicle where you could go across the glaciers and stuff like that, the snow. Mm-hmm. And so it's the only one she went on. She gears up and she goes. Mm-hmm. And her father's with her.
So
she does scan out.
I don't know. She scans out, but I think he looks like maybe asks somebody where she went, and then he ends up coming. Because remember, she's there, and they're like giving the tutorial or like a history, a background about Antarctica or something they're doing.
The museum. They're at the museum.
Yes. And then B is just like basically
where do you sleep? And they're like, we sleep here. Right. Ugh. The gift shop. It was a gift shop.
Yeah. And B is just like giving so much sass to them. I was like, oh no.
Because she was so excited. She was like looking for a back room because she was convinced her mother would be there.
Right.
If anywhere. This is the last port she went to.
Yep.
And just didn't scan back in.
Right.
So it was their last stop.
Right. And the girl, she's trying to go in back rooms, but the girls are blocking it from her who work at the gift shop. They will not let her go there. And B's like trying to play it off. She's kind of like pretending to be interested. That's why she's trying to go in the back rooms, and like nobody's falling for it.
Yeah.
And I think she have a meltdown in front of everybody. I don't remember
that part.
Yeah, like she's like saying, I don't understand. I butted in. How many people live here? And that's what she's saying. Yeah. So nobody has like gotten off of the ships to live with you. And she starts crying. And even somebody says, dear God, what's wrong with her? Yeah. Like, so she's
and then she runs and she's on a little cliff thing.
Yes.
And she's like looking out and she's feeling the bite of the cold as well. And this is when Elgin finds her.
Girl, I'm so excited for this movie.
I am too.
That's another episode.
Is it in March?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's another episode for us. Oh, that's gonna be
really good.
So excited for that.
That trailer was really good.
I loved it. It did so well. Like,
yes, it did. It did very, very well.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, damn. Like, what's her name? What's the name of the actress who's playing Bernadette? I forget her name.
Oh, I don't remember. Let's look it up.
Shoot, I know it, but I forget. She was in Carol. She played Carol.
Good luck with me knowing what that is.
Yeah. Kate Blanchett.
Oh, okay.
She just fits the role so well. Like, I'm like, God, like they picked the perfect actress for that. I just cannot wait. But Yeah, so basically this is the point where they kind of reconcile together.
Yeah.
Basically says, I miss her too.
Yeah, do you want to read that part?
Sure, I can read it.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted me to or you wanted to.
Okay, so let me see. Okay. So he finds her, and B says, I thought she was here, Dad. I can see why you might have thought that, he said. I cried a little, but then stopped. Still the crying continued. It was Dad. I miss her too, B. His chest jerked violently. He was bad at crying. I know you think you have a monopoly on missing her, but Mom was my best friend. She was my best friend, I said. I knew her longer. He wasn't even being funny. Now that Dad was crying, I was like, both of us can't be sitting on rocks in Antarctica crying. It's going to be okay, Dad. You're absolutely right, he said, blowing his nose. It all started with the letter I sent Dr. Kurtz. I was only trying to get Mom help. You have to believe me. Yeah. And then it goes on from there. But yeah.
It's a very emotional spot.
It is, and it was nice. I was still hoping for him to like kind of say, you're right, like we should keep looking for her, but still at the same time I loved that they were reconciling with one another in such a raw way, like that he started crying.
It's gonna be noisy for a moment.
That's okay. It wasn't too bad.
Oh, good. Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Such a raw way.
Yeah, like just I love that they were able to bond in that moment by admitting that she was their best friend, like, and that they miss her and they want to find her. Because you're understanding that Elgin still loves his wife, you know? God, I love this book so much. Like, I love that whole narrative between the two of them, of like the whole, is this in the part, like is it at the end of this part where it talks about their last miracle? I'm pretty sure. I think so. Yes, it is. Okay, so I love the whole thing of like, but we didn't get there yet. So well, no, but people have read it. Like, they've read it at this point. Well, they also read it in the previous parts. Well, yeah. The callback. The callback. Yeah. Go on. I'm sorry. Well, I was just gonna say that like I just like that their relationship, that he still believes in her and that he can sort of read her the way maybe other people can't. And that he can get through to her, I guess. But go ahead. What were you gonna say? Nothing. I was just reading. Oh, okay. Part. I like how real the characters are, in the sense that Elgin, the author does such a good job making him both relatable, in the sense that he is flawed, but we're still rooting for him. Yeah. You know, we're still rooting for their relationship, Elgin's and Bernadette's, to be good. You know, we still want them, because like you're saying about the last, like the miracles. Yeah. Saint Bernadette performed 14 miracles, I think. Yeah, I believe so. And he, like, it's so gooey, the relationship between them two. Yeah. You know, he's trying to protect her so much. And even in this part when he says, you have to believe me, B, I was only trying to do what was right and what can help your mom. Because at this point, he didn't have a relationship with Sulin. Right. At that point. Wait, which point were you talking? When he's trying to find her help, Bernadette help. Right, yeah. He didn't have a relationship with Sulin. Well, and I think another thing, and so when I was looking up, because obviously we mentioned last episode how we hadn't recorded in a while, so this morning I looked up to see if there were any like kind of summaries for each part of the book, just to help me out, to help me remember. And I found some book reviews in my searches, and one of the reviews made this point that I agreed with. I mean, I disagreed with, I should say, 100%, where it basically talked about Bernadette's unlikability and how that kept her from enjoying the book. Yeah. And I kind of thought Bernadette's unlikability and the same with Elgin's, is like their flaws, not necessarily unlikabilities, that made me want to root for them. Like, it's creating a character that you somehow relate to despite their idiosyncrasies, if that's the right word. Like, I think that is where this book is at its strongest. Is developing those. But still, the characters are likable. Yeah, and I disagree with that person. Yeah, like I didn't, because like just because a character is unlikable doesn't mean that it's a bad character. Bernadette she can be an unlikable character. So can Elgin. But I think that, and same with Audrey. But all these characters have some kind of growth, and that's what makes it so rewarding when you get to the end of it to see how far they've come. Mm-hmm. Maybe not morally speaking, but as in their own personal journeys.
Yeah.
Which I really love.
And we see a lot of their personal journey actually in this chapter as well. I'm just going to read a couple parts in it that I found. Mm-hmm. They're talking about Su Lin, and when we're talking about personal journeys, and Aubrey went through, and so did Su Lin, and we discussed last chapter, or last section. So they're sitting on top of this is when they're reconciling, basically. Yeah. And B is making a comparison to their family to the Beatles.
Oh, yeah.
And then Ice Cream is Ringo, which is really funny.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Su Lin, I started to say, but even uttering her name made it difficult to keep talking. She's nice, but she's like poop in the stew. Poop in the stew, he asked. Let's say you make some stew, I explained. And it's really yummy and you want to eat it, right? Okay. And then someone stirs in a little poop. Even if it's just a teeny tiny amount, and even if you mix it really, really well, would you still eat it? No, Dad said. So that's what Su Lin is. Poop in the stew.
Being real, B.
Yeah. And he's like, that's really unfair.
Not really.
So they talk a little bit about stuff, mm-hmm. Like Dad said, you're not the only one with wild ideas of what happened to Mom. I actually hired a bounty hunter to find her.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's devoted a lot of time and money into finding it, so much so that Samantha 2 got canceled.
Yeah. Can I just add something real quick?
Yeah.
So what you just said is another reason I love this book, where he's now telling her that he hired a bounty hunter. So he didn't tell her that information. He was sort of acting like to B, she thought he didn't care about finding her, but he actually did.
Correct.
So many stories rely on characters not talking to one another, and mm-hmm. I hate that. But this book, it makes sense why he wouldn't have told her that, but now he's telling it to her now.
Yeah.
And I love it so much. But sorry, go ahead.
No. So Samantha 2 got canceled. Mm-hmm. And Microsoft is moving it into video games, essentially, which kind of sucks.
But it makes sense, too, in the real world. But
exactly.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
And then we find out that Elgin actually just left Microsoft. He quit his entire job. Mm-hmm. I'd never known Dad without his badge. He said he had just turned it in. A terrible sadness poured through my head and filled me to the brim, like I was a honey bear. Like those microscopic... That was a reference long ago. It was honey bears are microscopic organisms that could survive in the Arctic and stuff like that. Yeah. That's so weird is all I could say. Is now a good time to tell you something even weirder, I guess. Su Lin is pregnant. So this is where we get confirmation that Su Lin is actually pregnant, which sucks. You try so hard to like Elgin.
Yeah, it's not that I still like him as a character, but out of all the characters other than Su Lin, I struggle with him. And it's funny, I've struggled with him a lot through this book, and he just kind of seems to get, at the end of the day, I like him, but when he's talking about that and he just doesn't understand why Su Lin's poop in the stew, and it's
mm-hmm.
Come on, dude.
And this is a part where it's also a little patronizing towards B.
Yeah.
You're too young to understand these things, but it was a one-night stand. I had too much to drink, and it was over the moment it began. I probably know... Oh, sorry. I know that probably seems really... What's the word you use? Gross? I never say gross. You just did. So it's a little bit of banter.
Yeah.
That's what you call the smell in Kennedy's house. She's really pregnant? Yep. The poor guy looks like he was about to barf. So this is also something that you're not rooting for Elgin, but you can also see it is hurting him.
Yeah,
it's actually hurting him.
Do you think it's hurting him because he, obviously I think it's pretty clear that he doesn't love Sulin. Like, it was just a thing that he regrets. But do you think he's making that face because he regrets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
I think he regrets everything because I think he still loves Bernadette.
Right.
You know, it's just
that he just
Sulin took advantage of his vulnerability.
Exactly.
And that's what it was because she's in love with him and he's not.
Right.
You know, and
Sulin.
it was just a one night stand. And I don't want to say that because adultery and like cheating on someone is a really, really big deal.
Yeah, but
it happens.
Right. And I was going to say, like you said, he was at his most vulnerable. And not that that's a good excuse, but like it makes sense toward what was happening in his character.
Yeah.
And like you said, Sulin is so manipulative and just...
She was very manipulative in that part.
Yeah, she got what she wanted because it was easy, you know?
And being pregnant is also what she wanted because it was a way to lock Elgin in.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I hate that so much. Oh.
I hate Sulin so much.
And that's the thing, like, and we talked about in earlier episodes, I really liked her. Like, again, didn't really like her, but liked her enough where I was like, God, poor Sulin. Like, she's just trying to keep her job and, like, grow in the company.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to me how, like, the book was able to flip that and make Audrey the character that I cared about more. Sulin.
So, also during this part, Bernadette is telling her father the things she's discovered and related, and things are clicking in their own minds.
Yes.
They're like, wait, what if blah, blah, blah happens? And this, that, and the other thing. Oh, the pink penguin. That's apparently a specialty in this research group.
Yeah. And
in the lab.
And the one guy actually tells them, his name's Nick, he says, apparently one of them didn't scan out because she goes to scan in and they said, oh, it didn't even know you were off the ship.
Yes.
That's because you didn't scan out. As far as it knows, you're still on the ship. And there we go.
There we go. What if mom never scanned out?
Right. That's where it's planted. And then a lot of things happen pretty quickly. Now, aren't they looking at something like a map or something where they see where they're going to stop in the middle of it?
Yeah, B was doing all of that beforehand when she was in the map room.
Oh, okay.
And
so we
then,
already passed.
Yeah, and she's showing Dad that.
Okay.
She's showing Elgin. So they when they hear about the pink penguin and they know it's a specialty for that one research lab that no one goes to.
Right.
Even though all of these charges, like it's one of those things in cruises, they're not supposed to do things, but they do things anyway.
Right. Yeah.
So people are getting on and off. And these researchers, it's a specialty thing with them. And there's a lot of charges of the pink penguin on Bernadette's card. And they see that the course goes by the research lab when Bernadette was on the cruise.
Right.
So they decide to go to the research lab.
Well, I want to say also before, and I forgot about this, but it says the pink penguins on the captain's report, they weren't for Bernadette. They must have been for a scientist. She was buying the drinks for him.
Yes.
So she never actually was drunk to begin with. She wasn't drinking those. So that's another interesting thing. She was in her right mind. I love how this comes together.
It's
just
coming
so
together so well.
Yeah. So they decide to hijack a Zodiac. Do they go? I guess B goes alone because Dad.
I think Elgin is distracting.
Yeah.
Isn't he?
Yeah, I believe so. So they don't know. They just kind of look, and then they go into this.
She goes to the lab.
Yeah, and she finds Bernadette.
Yeah, and it's such a fun way that you're introduced back to her. Did you find the part?
Yeah, I'm trying to find the part where to start off because I can't tell.
So it's like, you stinker.
Yeah, because it says Dad. So I don't know if she's like.
I thought Dad went with her.
Oh, maybe, did he? Did they find him to get the other?
Maybe I don't remember now.
Oh, so she's saying Dad because that's when they're, I guess, taking him back to the ship. So both Zodiacs were zooming away from Palmer Station toward our ship. Dad was in one of them. Then at my back, you little rotter. Oh,
that's right. So they ran off together and she's hiding.
Right.
While they're being pulled back.
Oh, gosh, that's so good. And she starts crying. She runs to her mom and she's hugging her. And she says, I found you. And like, oh my God, that is so good.
And Mom's like, what do you mean you found me?
Yeah. Oh gosh. I love this. And then she talks about her letter, how she...
I know like the way we're speaking about it is not a lot like very like it's very anticlimactic the way we're speaking about it, but this was the big reveal.
Exactly. You know? Like this is a huge moment in the book, finding her. So yeah, we definitely want to stress that. It's good you said that because like obviously we're just talking about it now, recapping, but this is a huge moment. And I teared up a little bit at this part. Like, even now, like I'm like holding it together, but like in my head, I'm reading, I'm like, oh my God, like it's so nice. But then obviously Bernadette talks about her letter. But then like B says, I never got your stupid letter, but here's something from Dad. And that's when you see, it says, number 1, Bieber bifocal. Number 2, 20-mile house. Number 3, B. 4, your escape. 14 miracles to go. So 18 miracles, okay? Oh my God. That just broke me.
It's like, so good. So that's in reference to when they were first getting together.
Yeah.
You know, she had a charm of Saint Bernadette, and she performed 18 miracles, and Elgin keeps track of the miracles she's performing.
Yeah.
And so when she became a recluse, and when she said, I'll never design again if B lived.
Right.
You know, so that was what stopped all of her miracles from happening. You know? Is it in, I think it's in the next part where we discover why Bernadette pieced. So, she gave up her miracles for B.
Yeah.
And, so it's very emotional to read the fact that Elgin considers her great escape as a miracle.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just, this part, reading that is a symbol of them actually moving forward.
Yes.
In their lives, you know, like, B, when she sees her mom again, her hair's so grown out. You know, like it talks about the gray at her roots down her part.
Yeah.
You know, her hair is super grown out. She's dressed nothing like she was before. You know, she is out of the toxic environment.
Right.
As we spoke about last episode.
Oh, so true.
She pulled herself out of a place that was holding her down and stifling her.
Would you say that this book is about the characters all removing themselves from toxic situations, apart from, say, like Sue Lynn, maybe? Because if you think about it, all of the characters have, like, Elgin's no longer at Microsoft. Bernadette left, like, and ran away. I don't know for B, I guess her boarding school, but I don't know if that was really a negative thing.
I don't think that was a negative thing. For B, I think hers is a little more secretive because, like, her mom was actually toxic to her.
Yeah.
You know, so when her mom was removed, her relationship with her mom was so strong she couldn't be herself.
Right.
You know, and she was stuck in this, I would say, for the beginning of the book, B was stuck in an adolescent form. You know, and like, she was doing all this type of amazing things, like she was organizing the dances for the first graders and stuff, and she's so brilliant and all this type of stuff, but her parents were actually very stifling.
Right.
They let her do whatever, but they kept her away from religion, which is something she was finding.
Yes.
Not necessarily religion, but the freedom of worship and song.
Right. Yes.
You know,
which is the whole Oh Holy Night thing.
With the Oh Holy Night thing, even though she doesn't particularly like religion,
right,
it's still very stifling. And then when I think she was also being stifled by her father when Bernadette disappeared.
Correct, yeah.
Which is why she wanted to go to the boarding school.
Right.
So she could work on finding her mom.
I wonder if B, what you just said actually made me think, if B, like all this time, her being stifled was because her family, like, wasn't hearing one another and they had to come together in this context. Like,
I think that's true.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
I think that's very true because her father worked constantly, and like, that's not a bad thing if you have a certain dynamic, and they didn't have that dynamic yet.
And her mom was very self-involved, I'd say, and just
they were all doing what they thought was best for everyone else.
Right.
You know?
And I think one thing I also want to note about the miracles thing is that I think one thing that this book seems to be trying to say is that, like for Bernadette, she decided no more miracles. Like, B is my miracle, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay to move on from something traumatic.
Yeah.
That you can move forward. You don't have to hang on to the past in that way. It's kind of like a Lion King moment, you know, like remember who you are. Like, you can like move forward with your life, but still remember.
I love your imitation of being the
Mufasa.
Was it Mufasa?
Yeah. Remember who you are. Look, I can recite the whole movie, so we don't want to go down that path. But it's just.
Do you watch Kimmy Schmidt?
Okay, yes, but I don't know it that well. I need to rewatch it. What were you gonna? Oh wait, I think I might know what you're gonna say. Is it from season 1 or 2?
No, the final.
Damn it.
It's
okay.
The last 2 episodes.
Sorry, I don't know. Hold it, Brittany. Just hold it in there. When I watch it, I'll text you, and you can.
Do. I was crying.
Oh, were
it's
you?
It got canceled.
Yeah, I'm very sad it got canceled.
So
but,
the last couple of episodes,
yeah.
Kevin was on his computer and watching them. He's like, and everything was wrapping up. He's like, wait a minute, is this the last episode? I'm like, yeah, I think so. And it was. And I was like, no, because I didn't know.
I'm surprised. Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know it was the last episode.
Aww.
So I was sad.
I was surprised it got canceled when it did, but Netflix cares more about Friends than it does.
Tina Fey is a genius, though. Can we just talk about how smart she is writing?
She is actually Mean Girls is one of my favorite movies.
So good.
It is and on the surface, it's easy to poke fun at it, but oh my god,
if you sit there and actually pay attention to the writing, it's so very good.
Mean Girls, damn! I remember when that movie came out, and I was like, that looks so freaking stupid, and then I watched it, and I was like, oh,
it's the same thing I feel about with 30 Rock, and
I've never watched 30 Rock yet.
Yeah, I'm watching that now. I think I'm on season 7 of 8. But I never gave it a chance, but now I am, and it's so good.
Is it?
And Kimmy Schmidt is just
all right,
beautiful. I love
have to
that.
watch both of them then.
Yeah, do it.
Cool,
Kimmy Schmidt is better, I think.
There's your recommends. Oh, interesting.
I think Kimmy Schmidt is better.
Okay, and very interesting. So I'll have to pay attention to that too. Wow, I've never heard people put those two against each other.
30 Rock and Kimmy Schmidt?
Yeah, so that's really interesting. Ooh. I'm so fascinated now. I want to look that up and see what people's...
It's also interesting because one's a television show.
Right.
And the other's a Netflix special.
Right.
So with Netflix, you have a lot more leeway.
Yeah.
You have a lot more... You could get away with a little bit more.
I was going to say one's on a major cable network and the other is
NBC.
NBC, which I like NBC, but they can't do as many things as say Netflix could.
Yeah.
Oh man. See, now there's too many things to do in this life. There's so many video games, so many books, so many movies, so many TV shows. I can't do it all. I'll try.
It's funny.
But it's on my to-do list, watch Kimmy Schmidt.
Yeah.
And you think I'm kidding, but I'm not.
Oh my god, that's actually funny then.
Yeah. It's true. But anyway.
So anyways, so we find Bernadette.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, am I missing anything? I don't know if you want to look real quick.
I just want to talk about how they got there.
Oh, got to the island from the Zodiac, you mean?
Got to the research center.
Yeah, research center. Yeah.
So, they weren't for wait. Oh, so this is when they're looking at the key. Mm-hmm. They talked about that. I know the name. I'm going to steal. So it was actually Elgin who suggested that they steal the Zodiac.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it was Elgin, and then they're on their way, and he pushes her down. On the Zodiac, so get lower all the way down so they don't notice you. And he takes off his glasses so that they couldn't see him. I guess they were reflective. Okay. We're good. Now I need a place to dock. So Zodiacs are boats, I think.
Yeah, I'm assuming so, yeah.
Yeah. I peered over the rubber edge. The station was all around us. I'm ready to ram up as fast. I'm just going to ram really fast up onto the rocks, I said. No, you don't. Yes, you do. I said, just full speed. And so they go right up the rocks and they scream. God. Yeah, it's actually very climatic.
Forgot about that part.
So they realize that Bernadette is there. So Dad lets her go. Go, Dad said. Where? Just find her. He said, I'll hold them off. Our ship leaves at 3 a.m. That's 30 minutes from now. Find someone, ask for Mom. She's either here or she won't. She'll either be here or she won't. If you want to return, you must radio our ship by 2:50. Got that? 2:50. What do you mean, if I want to return? So Dad is giving her an out if he wants to come home and be part of Sulin and his family. Maybe part of his family.
Right.
You know? And if you return... What do you mean, if I return? I don't know what I mean, said Dad. I took a big gulp and stared up at the whatever sprawl. I can't read that word. Just make sure you... And he reached inside his pocket and pulled out a black velvet bag with a gold silk rope. Give this to her. Give her this. So then she finds Mom. And it's just that, like, that was a very... adventure. I just wanted to make sure, like, I wanted to see the interaction between Dad and B before she found Bernadette.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to focus on that part because I think it's very interesting that he gave her a out if she wanted to return.
Right.
You know, or if she wanted to continue looking for her mother. So I thought that was interesting before I...
Well, it was.
Left it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good you brought that up too because like it's nice to see that like they both had the same conflict but they had different kind of resolutions to it and how they came together to solve their issue of missing her.
Of missing her.
That was really well done.
Yeah.
I thought. But yeah.
That's all I wanted to say.
That actually went a lot faster than I thought it would. I guess that part, obviously it was still as meaty, but there's a lot of things that you can kind of skip. Or not skip, but like not go into too much detail about.
Yeah, because like this chapter is the reconciling chapter. Right. You know, like they do find out a lot of stuff about each other. And it's very emotional. I like at the end of his life, my dad and I had a very strained relationship. So it was very emotional to read that part for me personally.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was very therapeutic, actually, to see how they were reconciling. Because my father and I were at that point. We were beginning to reconcile. And we didn't really have that option before he passed. Yeah. But it's interesting how... at that point, he gave her the choice to be there fully.
Yeah.
You know, and she... It wasn't that she wasn't there. He said, this is the time you have 20 minutes to find your mom.
Right.
And then you have to make a decision. Are you coming home or not?
Yeah, and that's really fascinating, actually, because it's kind of like... I think a lot of times with a parent-child relationship, a lot of times the parent will put themselves in the position of, well, I automatically know more than you. And I think it's always nice to see this kind of situation where a parent is giving the choice to their child to make the decision that is best for them.
Yeah.
And you know, also speak to like books in general, or like stories in general. It's so interesting how they, in a way, are therapeutic for us. Like I said that to somebody one time who I used to work with, and she just looked at me like I had 3 heads. I said to her, I didn't say that exactly. I said books are kind of like experiences that you have. Yeah. And she looked at me like, okay, like whatever. But it's kind of like that cheesy saying, books are your friends. Like I never got that, but like in a way it makes sense. Like you're having these experiences with these texts that like you like, for example, like one of the reviews I read of The Lovely Bones one time, which is why I reread it eventually, they said, this book, like, I'll see it on the shelf, and immediately I'm brought back to the moment I was reading it and how much I enjoyed it. And I was like, that's so interesting how you can look at a book and remember the time and place you read it. Like, it's so interesting how I look at a certain year, and I'm like, oh, I read these books in a year, and they just...
I think you're the only one that could do that.
Well, yeah, that's true. But you know what I mean? Like, you just, like, you look at these certain pieces of entertainment that really, like... maybe not help you all the time, but at least like kind of alter how you view the world. And I just find that so interesting.
Oh, that's the same thing with me and that book I was telling you about, Inkheart.
Oh, yeah,
you know, like I still remember parts of that book that still crop up today. And it's not a magnificent book. It's a decent one, but like there's a lot of bad like plot holes to it. But I remember reading it, and things just carry over.
Well, same with like we were talking about Kingdom Hearts. Like Kingdom Hearts, you know.
Oh, you guys should have heard what we were talking about, Kingdom Hearts.
Look, it's a lot of BS, but at the end of the day, you know, there is something to gain from the story, even though it is so much BS.
It's so bad. I'm sorry.
It's like, look, like if you play through all of it, like it's good in parts, but the bad is so overwhelmingly bad. It's so bad. But for me personally, I remember that first time playing that first game in this basement, like playing here. We had our little like TV and playing on the PS2. Like that's a big memory for me. Even when I hear certain tracks from that game, like it automatically brings me back to that moment. So it's like interesting how you have, like you said, with your book, with the video game or anything really, that like just
this one time. When Kevin and I first started dating, and I wasn't allowed to sleep in his bedroom, but I snuck over and I slept in there anyway. I know, it sounds so weird. He was like 22 at the time. No, 21, but he still lived with his parents, you know. And they had a big rule of me not sleeping in his bedroom, but when they went on vacation, guess where I slept?
Oh, man.
But there was this one time we were sleeping, and he listens to music. And every time the song comes on, I laugh because I'm not used to sleeping with music before I was with him.
Yeah.
And my head was right by the speakers. And this song comes on, and I swear to God, I thought ghosts were speaking to me through the speakers.
Oh, my God.
And I woke up in a panic. And I was like, what's wrong with the speakers? And he's like, I woke him up. He's like, it's just the song. I'm like, I'm hearing voices.
That's amazing.
And like it's distorted voices in the song.
Yeah.
And so I was right, but it was honestly just the song.
That's amazing.
It scared the shit out of me. And now
my God.
every time I hear it,
you think
I
of
laugh.
that.
My heart like pumps a little faster for a second, but that's it.
That's actually really funny because there are things that like give you anxiety or something. Like when you hear noises or something. Like my alarm that I used to wake up to. I don't remember what it sounds like, but if I probably heard it again, or certain alarms, they will give me anxiety. Like when I was in high school, my alarm, oh my God, if it ever went off, I had anxiety. Or my old roommate that we really didn't get along, her ringtone gave me anxiety. Like if I heard that, or my old boss that I didn't like at my other job, he had a certain ringtone and my mom went to get it and I was like, please do not. I cannot deal with that.
That's so
I probably
funny.
wouldn't remember it now, but at the time.
You'll remember it when it comes
That's true.
up.
Yeah, I probably would.
If you hear it, you'll remember it.
Yeah, but yeah, so yeah. Oh, so interesting. I love it. Love it so much. But yeah, I guess that's it for this episode.
Yeah, this wasn't a very long one.
No, I'm actually very surprised because this was a longer section. But there you go.
Well, also, we read it a long time ago.
That's true. Yeah,
so we have like less to talk about, really.
That's true. Very true. But yeah. So for those of you who enjoyed this episode or want to listen to our past episodes or more episodes, you can subscribe to us on iTunes or Google Play.
I'm sweating so much. I'm sorry.
I'm sweating too, even though I'm still cold. Are you hot sweating?
I don't know. I don't know what sweat I'm doing right now.
It's this basement. It gets hot and it makes you sweat, but then you're cold.
And it's cold. It's yes and it's no. It's in and it's out. It's up and it's down. It's wrong and it's right. I don't remember the rest.
This is a Katy Perry song. I mean, podcast. Sorry. But you can find us on Podcast Addict, Stitcher, any more podcasts. Brittany is trying to eat the microphone. Oh my God.
I was surprised.
That's definitely yours. That's so funny.
There we go.
Can I do
it? I'm trying to do it as quietly as possible. It's fine.
Yeah, you did it better than me. My microphone's all wet. That's
gross. So yeah, you can find us on our social medias.
Yes. You can find us
Facebook,
Twitter,
Instagram, Twitter,
Tumblr.
Goodreads, Tumblr. Ooh, I have to update our Tumblr.
It's been a while. It's been a while.
Since,
oh my god.
Wow, every
Why?
goddamn episode.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. What else? You said Goodreads. We have an email. We have a voicemail. All of that stuff is on our website. So our website is BaBatpodcast.com. So go on there for all of that good stuff. And of course, show notes. Brittany is now touching her nose to the microphone.
I'm just experimenting.
You are. It's fun to watch.
I was reading the edges.
Oh, yeah. You see the little upside down butt?
Yeah.
Or a heart, but it looks like a butt.
It looks like a butt.
Yeah. Yeah, good stuff, folks, that you can't see, but it's awesome. Maybe we'll take a picture, show notes, or show artwork. Oh, now. Oh.
Okay. And our artwork is done by Katie Hartung. And our music is by Kevin MacLeod, but the lyrics are by us. Mm.
We're really good at what we do. I haven't said that in a while.
It's so funny.
Oh, man.
You know what also you haven't said in a while?
Oh, I forget what it is.
You heard it here, folks.
Yes.
You heard it here first.
Hey, maybe I broke the cycle.
That could be our network name. You heard it here first. Network.
God damn it. God damn it, Brittany. Oh yeah, don't spoilers.
Oh, sorry.
That's teasing. We can put it in there. That's a teaser, folks. That's a teaser. All right. So with that being said,
don't tease me,
bro. Don't tease me, bro. Network. No, that's not as good. Anyway. All right. So thanks for listening, everyone, and we will talk to you later. And I'm gonna give my sign off now, which I wish I came up with sooner.
Oh my god.